Hey family, thanks so much for joining me. So I wanted to bring you this video. This is part two of the video where I was talking about the dreams that I had, the um simulation, or this 3D being a simulation, um and then fast food having human DNA according to reports. And then, I was talking about those movies that I saw about celebrities or others eating human flesh, according to movies. And so, something else that I was thinking about actually, as I was thinking about that just now, um, the movie, I'm sure you've heard of it before, called Limitless. But what I was talking about just now is that we are limitless. And in the movie, you saw, like, there's always this story where it's connected to some kind of substance outside of our bodies, but it's not true. Um, we have everything inside of our bodies already. But if someone can try to get us to believe that it isn't within our power and that we need some kind of substance or something outside of us, we will be messed up, basically. um, so let me just get back into this. So of course this is a timeless reading. Um, you could use this as a manifestation reading. Just keep in mind, masculine can be feminine, feminine can be masculine. We all have masculine and feminine energies in our bodies. Take what resonates and leave the rest. Use your discernment to determine if this is, the right information for you. But I get my information from God and from the Holy Spirit. I don't use any cards or anything like that. Um, I also wanted to give you the information. So if you'd like to work with me, excuse me, on spiritual advice, on twin flame stuff, on astrology readings, which I need to do some more, but and other things. My information is in the description below, and if you'd like to book a free consult with me, my Calendly link is in that description below as well. All right, y'all. So let me get back into it. So I was talking about the movie Limitless and how in so many of these scenarios they want us to um believe that these powers that we have, these limitless powers, are connected to something outside of us, some external substance, and when we take it, then we get all these powers, but then we lose them have if we don't continue to take the substance, and that's not true. However, if, like, a lot of people believe it, they could get us to believe it, that would be unfortunate. We have to continue to work to grow our spiritual power. But getting back to this information on the simulation, and so just listening to different videos, and also getting, information from God, from the Holy Spirit, just looking at these different things and um, getting the information that, for example, if we think about, so maybe this will help us to wrap our minds around it. Again, I was talking about that movie Avatar and how it's like the guy Jake Sully, he would go to sleep, let's say, for example, isn't a coincidence, in his human body, and he would wake up into the Avatar world. And so that was the reality for him, that he was using a totally different body and all this stuff. And they, some researchers say there's evidence that we do the same, that when we're in this waking life, this is the dream. And we're actually plugged in, like we had the VR suit, let's say. Um, and that's the headset and everything. So we can fully function in this human body. And then when we go to sleep out of this human body, then we wake up into our real bodies, which are infinite. And I was getting into Itzhak Bentov and how he was talking about this, that we are so big, like as bodies, not the human physical body, but the spiritual body. I think is what he was explaining or describing, that our spiritual bodies, if we can imagine, it's like mist, so it can fit through any little tiny little crack or crevice or hole. And we all know, from science, that nothing is really solid anyway, that there's holes in everything. But just this is one reason that I'm saying, just keep in mind it's good for you to take care of your body and not have too much stuff on it or in it interfering with you being able to receive messages from God and from the spirit, and sending your ability. You don't want anything interfering in your ability to send your information, send the signals out, so that you can attract in and manifest the things that you want in this life. To have a strong, clear, consistent signal is really good for us. So with this simulation, what I was talking about, and I think the Avatar movie makes it easier to understand, to overstand, or however you want to say it, that you fall asleep like we do in our bodies, but we would wake up, and those would be the real bodies, like infinite, lasting, reaching out into forever and ever. Um, and thinking about a movie like that, then we start to wonder, what are we programmed to do? Like these physical bodies, what are their limitations? And what are they programmed for? Like, are they programmed to self-destruct? Are they programmed um, to kick on certain processes? How do we kick those off if they're harmful to us? How do we take care of our bodies like the best way? What's the best way for us to take care of our bodies so that if we want to, we could live on for years and years? How do we do that? What are our options? What are the things that we can actually do um, with these bodies? But I was listening to, like I was saying, the different videos and stuff, and the idea about this reality being a simulation. There's code. Now, I don't know if you've ever done any coding or if you're familiar with any coding, something simple as like Microsoft Excel or something like that, or Microsoft whatever spreadsheet. Because if you know, like, a, just a tiny little bit about coding, you know that, for example, let's say you want one um, cell in your spreadsheet or whatever to add up. Let's say you have 10 boxes above it, and you wanted to add up all those numbers to get a sum, but you don't want to have to do it every single time you get to the end of your column. So you program it so that it will do it, just like it's possible that this reality is programmed to self correct or to do certain things that we don't know it's programmed to do, right? Because we didn't program it. How do we know who is a programmer, who is not a programmer, and who's a coder, who's not a coder, and so on? And it's like, how do we know that? And this is the theory, part of the theory, like it's this 3D or whatever it is a simulation, like a video game. We go in, we put on our VR suits, and we interact, and then we go to sleep. But some of us get caught up and we believe that this is really all there is, but this is not all there is. And some people even say, well, you never die, you're infinite. Like, what do we know about energy? Because we are energy. It never gets created or destroyed, it just changes form. So that means technically we never die. Like, we just leave this reality, and some would say, okay, we just stay in our real bodies for good and we stop messing with the VR suit that maybe it's a malfunction, or maybe, whatever. They call that a health issue, or they call that whatever. And it's just a malfunction, maybe, of the human suit. And maybe we can learn how to get another suit on command if we want to, or to use this suit indefinitely. But so imagine that you can program it by doing different things, right? Some people would say meditation is one way that you could program your human body and your human experience here to get the things that you want, to to attract them closer to you. What do? Assume that they're already done. Sort of like, if, going back to this, idea with this Excel spreadsheet, that you program a certain box so that it sums up all this, you know, information. And let's say, if we talking about someone had a near death experience, let's say, and they went into the afterlife, or I guess that's what you would call it, having a near death experience. But now they say that our memory gets wiped. What if your memory gets wiped only if you go through that process the way that they take you through it? But what if your memory gets returned if you have a near death experience? Like, for example, some people could say there are rituals, right, in the Egyptian mystery system, or in Masonic, whatever you call that, the Freemasonry thing, their rituals and programming, or whatever it is that they call it, their rituals and practices. Um, that What if that's the case with that? That with They have near death experiences. They have experience where they would say, like, they get laid down and then they get raised up. And let's say within those experiences, because this could be like a like traumatic experience for some people as well. They have these traumas. When they have the trauma, when they have the traumatic experience, they gain a superpower from it. Whatever it is, it unlocks another spiritual power. Now, just think about that for a minute. That's mind blowing and interesting in itself. And why would they be like withholding the spiritual powers? Like, why do we have to go through these things? Why do we have to go through, like, changing our brainwave patterns and changing our frequency and this and that, and such strict things? So they're like, to me, um, ways to hack the system, like visualization, because for whatever reason, with the law of attraction, um, it works that you say, for example, you hold this image in your mind for an extended period of time. It doesn't have to be extended; it can be a short period of time. But if you have intense emotion with it, I think it comes through faster, like desire, and it can come through faster, and you can manifest in less than a minute. And so you start thinking, is this like I said, is this a way to hack the system? Because maybe they want you to believe you got to take some kind of substance now. For some people, the substance unlocks a different level of this simulation or consciousness, and maybe they believe, okay, this next level is the true reality, let's say. So they have the near death experience, and they, like a lot of people explain the same type of experience they had where, they're talking to this person and they're like a guide and they're, showing them their life and they're saying this, this happened and you agreed to come here and you said that you would do the work and this and that. And then you say, okay, well, this is really like a non physical being. Um, and I guess they're telling me the truth because how could they not be telling me the truth? You don't know. But my theory is that maybe there are different levels, and beyond those levels, they're safeguarded, they're guarded in a way so that we don't get there because they don't want us to, whatever that means. We don't know who they are, but say they are the designers of the system and they want us to stay within certain limits and not go beyond those limits. Um, but let's say then, getting back to the body, in the avatar example, let's say, and I don't know how many of you have read 1984 Brave New World, but this is the type of stuff that I'm getting into, I guess, just thinking about those things that say, for example, there's ways that things are designed so that there's a cap set on, say, age or whatever it is, and they're saying these people, these humans, so called, are limited, or these VR suits, or these, human bodies have limits, they have caps, but there's a way to unlock them because maybe they assume that they're going to indulge while they're here. They're going to eat all the stuff they want, drink all the stuff they want. They're going to engage in certain behaviors, whatever it's going to be a risk to them. And when they do that, that's going to shorten their lifespan. But what if there's a way that you could hack it? And maybe the carnivore lifestyle might be one of those ways, or maybe there's another lifestyle that works to hack it, or maybe it's the breatharian way, or maybe it's different ways. And when I say breatharian, I mean some people say that they live off um, light or whatever is in the breath, or meditation, different ways that they can do things to get energy and not from physical food. And when they do that, they can live longer, be healthier, like be free from disease, and so on and so on, keep their bodies cleaned out and everything. And so there are certain things that you could do then to hack the system and maybe um, be able to live longer or do certain things outside of what someone might expect you to be able to do. So, for example, let's say your job is, I don't know, you check out, you create, let's say you create contracts. You're a contractor, and that's what you do. You create contracts. You draft contracts. Maybe they're grants or something. Let's just think outside the box for a minute. And that's what you're assigned That's what you're programmed to do, according to the system. But let's say you are saying, well, I don't want to be a contractor. I don't want to do grants and contracts. I want to be an investment banker. And when you try, there are unseen forces, things that try to discourage you because you're programmed to be a contract, to create contracts. And you saying there's got to be a way. You keep pushing and pushing, and you finally get out of it. And you end up being an investment banker, and maybe you go on to be very successful. You make a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. And you say, this is weird. Because what if I never did that? Like, what if I never got outside the box? What if I just said, okay, I'll just be a contractor? You'll make decent money and whatever. But you might not make as much as if you're an investment banker. Just think about this for a second. Like, if we are programmed to do certain things, but not by God, but by the people who think are the entities that believe they're gods, that they say we need this many investment bankers, we need this many lawyers, we need this many doctors, we need this many this many that, and that's it. That's a limit, no more. So if you're trying to be, you're not going to be able to be, because that's not your programming. You're programmed to do something else. And then it might be that, like, in a past life, you were something, and maybe they're like, okay, you'll just be this again in this life. You won't have any memory, any human type of memory, because they wiped your memory. They disabled it, maybe. Let's think of it that way. Or they cut off the service to it. If we think about it like internet service, internet is always there. It's just, do you have access to it? No. So your memory is always there. It's just, do you have access to it? Maybe not. But it exists, and you can get into the Akashic records, and you can see what it is. But it's just interesting to think about all these things, and I know I won't hold you on the video forever. But I was just thinking, the dream, and seeing the videos about the human flesh stuff, and then thinking about the movies, thinking about the simulation, the understanding or overstanding that we could be limitless. We just have to figure out ways that we can hack this system, um, and pull in the things that we want. It's interesting to think about why it works, that if we just go ahead and assume that we have it, then we have it. If we just keep pretending, so called, we'll get it. Why does that work? This is a mystery that a lot of people have talked about, and wondering, like, why. You don't have to know why it works to get it to work, though, with the law of attraction, because it can work. It is something to think about, the power that we have in us that we don't always tap into, but it's something that I think, we want to start tapping into, and getting back to our bodies being so vast, so big. Like, the tip of our body is in the VR suit. And then all the rest of it, think like it, we could extend into eternity. We don't know. We're just mist that goes on and on and on. And we're not limited. And we need to start operating like that. and thinking this is our natural state. So when they say you fake it till you make it, actually works with law of attraction. And law of attraction works 24/7 anyway. Just things to think about, collective, and thinking about ways that you can work on being limitless and getting the things that you want in this life too. Let your limitlessness serve to create the life that you want for yourself. The 3D or 4D or whatever, 5D, 6D, whatever reality that you want for yourself every day. All right, y'all. I didn't want to make this video too long. Um, hopefully you stuck around to the end. Thank you again for joining me. Continue to glow up. Continue to watch, read, listen to things that will lift you up. Continue to grow your spiritual power. Continue to surround yourself by energy that you know will lift you up and by people that you know everyone wants to win together with you. All right, y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all next time. Love y'all and see y'all soon. Bye for now.